Welcome to part 2 of Web Content Accessibility Guidelines 2.2 Compliance Series for Webflow. In part 1, we covered visual disabilities, and in this part, we are going to cover hearing disabilities and motor disabilities. For hearing disabilities, we are going to cover things like video captions, auditory control, audio transcripts, and sign language interpretation. And for motor disabilities, we are going to cover things like touch target sizing, keyboard navigation, timing controls, modals, and hover interactions. As of June 2025, for some industries such as travel, banking, and e-commerce serving EU customers, websites must meet accessibility requirements under the European Accessibility Act. And as a quick disclaimer, use this as a starting point and not a complete audit. Legal requirements vary by jurisdiction and industry, and there might be some things that I'm not covering here that your website might need. So when it comes to videos, there are different ways that you can add captions for them, but I'm going to show you like two ways that you can do this. The easiest one would be to embed like a YouTube video on the website, and this is the easiest way. Like in on YouTube, you can add your own captions, or it can be auto-generated, so this is quite easy. The downside is the YouTube player itself, because it can recommend different videos to people. It can have ads and stuff like that, which is quite annoying. And also, like, it has a lot going on at the same time, like with the titles and stuff like that. And also, like, he needs to be GDPR compliant for those that are serving EU customers. So this means that you need to set up like the cookie banner to block the cookies for the video player, and it won't load at first, and it can look weird, and you need to do other settings. But somehow it can be the easiest way when it comes to captions. But and in Webflow, like, you just add it like a video like this, like a video element, and then you just add the link for the video. But there's another way, and the other way is with bunny.net. You can see how it looks like. This is the player that comes from by default from them. You can customize it and do a lot of things, and it comes with captions. So when you click on play, it plays quite quickly. Like, it works very easily, and it's quite good. And you can see the captions. I didn't edit this. I just added a lot of text at first, but you can edit this, and it works really easy. Now, how you set this up in Bunny, you create an account, and then you want to go under stream, and then you want to click on video library, and you set the name, and then you set the regions where you want, like, depending on where the users are, and you set the region so you loads quickly through CDN. Now let's go inside the library that I have here, and you can see, like, it says like manage library, and here you upload the video. After it is uploaded, you want to click on the video, and you want to add the captions. You can add, the way I've done it, there's this tool that I used. It's called Vibe. It's from OpenAI, from what I understood, and it works quite well, to be honest. This is how it looks. So you upload the video, and then you want to click on transcribe, and you have to click on either of these formats, like CRT or VTT, and then you wait, and it should be, the transcript should appear here. So after that is done, you are going to see the transcript here. You can edit it, you can add the timing if it's not right and stuff like that. You can change things, so it's good. And then you save the transcript, the file, and then you need to upload it on bunny.net. So like this, and then you select the file, and it's going to appear here. Another thing that Bunny has is, if you click on transcribe, it can also auto-generate captions for the video. I've seen that they don't work that well, but maybe for you it works. Like, you need to also turn it on inside the transcribing. You enable it, and yeah, that's how you can do it. Now, for embedding it, also for the player, you can change a lot of things here, like the captions button to appear, and what you need, and the color and stuff like that, which is quite great. When it comes to embedding it, like, they have documentation here, what you need to use, and like parameters and stuff like that. The way I've done it, I used a very similar code, this one. And what you need to do when you want to embed it, you are going to see it in their code as well. It says right here, you want to take the video library ID and then the video ID. So for the video library, you want to go back to stream, and then you want to click here and click on copy video library ID. So this is the one that is after embed. Here you want to add it, and then the other thing that you want to do is to click again on the video library, and on the video you want to click on copy video ID, and then you add the video ID after the library ID here. And mostly, like, this is what I added, like it's just the similar to the code that they have here. And then, like, the video player is going to work, and after some time, after you upload the transcript, you are going to see the captions appearing. Like, it takes a few minutes for them to appear, but it's quite great. Like, it's again, you need to cut it because in this one, like, I added a lot of them, but mostly this is how you can add captions on videos. And with Bunny, like, I recommend Bunny over YouTube if you are comfortable with doing all of these things. So the downside with YouTube, like, it's going to take you some time if you haven't set the cookie banner settings to block YouTube video players. So you are going to have all of these links in the description below for Bunny and also for Vibe, so you can use this setup as well. Now, when it comes to audio only content, I found some examples that I can share with you. How people do this, they create some type of blog, similar to a blog format, but they change some things a bit. Like, for example, for audio only content, like, they add the time where, for example, like, key takeaways appear, or the transcript itself, like, it says the name of the person and the time where they say and what they say, and then, like, it's a complete transcript. And they also embed the audio or the video here. And Stripe does a similar thing. If you click on one episode, let's say on this one, you can see that you can play it, and they also have like a read transcript button. And if you click on that, it's going to open this page where it's the full transcript and what they are talking about. Here I see that they don't add the timings of it, but it's the full conversation. So this is another way that you can make audio only content accessible. So the next thing that we want to talk about is avoiding autoplaying media. This is an AA level, so this can be legally required. So this means that audio and video should be only initiated by a user, so it shouldn't autoplay by default. So, and this is especially important for content or videos or audio that plays longer than 3 seconds. So in Webflow, for example, when you add a video background, it seems that it shouldn't autoplay by default. And if you go inside the settings on that video, like, you can deselect the autoplay video, and it should also have like a button, play pause button, and you can also customize this button and however you want. But the video in the background, for example, in this case, like, it needs to be played by the user, and it shouldn't autoplay by default. And this can be the same thing with audio. For example, on my website, you can see that here at the top I have turn on sound. So this is not turned on by default. I've seen some websites where they have audio that starts by default, or you click on something and the audio starts. It shouldn't happen by default. Like, in some cases, like, the audio should play when you click on something, but when I'm talking like to background music, meaning like music and stuff like that. In my case, like, I also have like music on the website, and I also have sounds when you hover on buttons. So if I turn this on, like, you can see that it says, like, you can see here that it plays, and then I hover on elements and I hear a lot of sounds and also like a background music. but this shouldn't happen by default. Users should also have auditory control. This is an A level, so this can be legally required. So what it means is that users, if the content is playing for longer than 3 seconds, they must have a pause button. So for audio, I showed you how you can add the pause button. But yeah, for sounds as well, like you have seen on my website, like users are able to turn it off quickly and they no longer hear the background music that I have. Websites should also have auditory cues. This is an A level. So what this means is that when let's say that a pop-up appears or something like that, and it has like an audio sound, and I don't know, maybe it's an alert or something like that. Like you shouldn't only rely on the audio, and you should show like something like a text and or stuff like that. You shouldn't only add like a sound for something, because some people can be deaf, like some people may use the website in environments where they it's noisy, or maybe they cannot play the audio and they have turned it off. So you need to be sure that you have like cues on the website. And for example, like on my website, like when the audio plays, I you can see that like the person can see like, oh, so it comes from here, like the audio is on, and then they can turn it off and it no longer plays, like the icon stops. But this is important, especially like for errors or something like that. You shouldn't add audio on the website that again it doesn't stay on, or it disappears and then the person doesn't know what happened, you know. Like you need to be careful with these kind of things. The other thing that we want to talk about is sign language interpretation for pre-recorded videos. So this is an AAA level, so this is not legally required, but if you really want to make your website accessible, you should have this as well. So this means providing sign language interpretation for all pre-recorded audio content in synchronized media. So this is beyond like development, but this is something like if you really need to create a website that needs to be accessible, you should think about this as well. So this helps people whose first language is sign language, as they may have limited proficiency in written language as well. And also like sign language interpretation goes beyond captions, and they convey tone of voice, like emotion and cultural context. So you should really think about this, like this is not only for those that are deaf. So you should really think about this. This is not only for those that are deaf. The other thing that we want to talk about is extended audio descriptions for pre-recorded video. So this is an AAA level. This is not legally required, but this is something that can really help with accessibility. So what this means is that sometimes the audio in videos or the audio content is not enough, and like in video content is not enough, because let's say there's a presentation or something like that, and the information is more than what the audio track says. Like there may be a presentation and it also relies on you like looking at the video. Of course, for blind people, they cannot receive that information, so you should add in the captions like more description about what is shown in that video, or in the transcript itself, if you have a transcript for the video as well or something like that. Like the information should also be in text and not just visually. Another thing that you can also do to make your website really accessible is live captions for live audio. So this is an AAA level. This is not legally required, but this is something that can really make your content accessible. So this can be like real-time captions for webinars, streams, like when you're streaming something live and there's an event or something like that, or like a video conference. So the real like the captions in real time help those that are deaf and or have difficulties hearing, and also they shouldn't rely only on the transcripts post the event. Another thing that is important to mention is that all video and audio content should have low or no background audio. So this is an AAA level. This is not legally required, but if you want like you add a video on the website, it shouldn't have music that somehow it makes it hard for the person to hear the person that speaks. or like it should be like quite low or not at all. The motor disabilities affect those people that have limited fine motor control. They have shaky movement, or they have tremors, and they have difficulty with precise control, so they are not able to use a mouse, and they may use like keyboards or assistive technologies to navigate the website. They can even use like voice controls, so they can tell like the device where to click and stuff like that. So you need to make sure like the website is accessible in those ways for those that are not using a mouse. And the first thing that we want to talk about is the target size. So for AA level, so this can be legally required, is for those like hamburger buttons, like it's on mobile, or like the social links, like the icons in the footer, like all of them should be at least 24 pixels. So for those that like have limited motor controls, like they may have trouble like clicking on the button if it's small, and it should be at least 24 pixels. But for AAA levels, it should be at least 44. So in Webflow, you do something like you either add the size to be bigger than that, or you add like the minimum to be at least 44 for AA level. I think usually like people are using the AA level and not the AA level. That's quite small, but it's good to know that maybe in some scenarios, like maybe you can also, like if the content is smaller, you need to make sure to be for it to be at least 24 pixels. And the next thing is keyboard navigation. So this is an A level. This can be legally required. So what this means is that websites need to be navigable by using the tab key or the arrows. So when I click on tab on my keyboard, like I should be able to go through all the links on the website like this. So it should be easy for everyone like to just access the content, to move through all the links like this. And you can also see that they have like this border around them. So this comes by default from Webflow, and they should appear like this. I'm going to show you in Webflow. We've already covered this in Visual Disabilities, the other tutorial about accessibility, but I'm going to show you like when you go on a link block or like a link, and you go inside the style selector and then you click on the state on focused, you can change that color if you wanted to, but you need to be careful that it needs to have like enough contrast, and you can set like a border or an outline and set the width to be like at least 2 pixels. It's the best for AA levels. And also like set the color to some blue that has enough contrast, or just a color that has enough contrast with the background. You should also make sure that you don't add links that are hidden and stuff like that, because people, like when people click on tab, like sometimes like it can select that link that is hidden, and it shouldn't happen like that, because they may look weird. Like someone may click on tab and it looks like it doesn't go to the link where it needs to be, and they read the link that is hidden, so that shouldn't happen. And for AAA levels, all this functionality with like navigating a website with a keyboard should be available with no exception. So what this means is that, for example, where if you have animations that rely only on hover for something to appear, like it shouldn't be like that. Like it should also work on click. So when it comes into focus and someone clicks on that element, that specific thing to appear. The same, for example, if you have like a website that relies on dragging something for the website, like for something on the website to appear, like it shouldn't rely only on dragging and stuff like that. It should be like rely on click as well, like just navigating with tab and then clicking enter and just opening up that specific element to see the information. It shouldn't be on hover and things like that that cannot be navigable by someone that uses assistive technologies that of course cannot hover on things, or it cannot drag elements. Another thing that when it comes to accessibility is to make sure that modals are keyboard navigable. So this is an A level, this can be legally required. So I'm going to show you an example. This is an example from Webflow. This is a clone. I'm going to add the link for it in the description below that you can clone and use as well. So I'm going to show you how it works. So when you click on tab and you click you go, like you reach the button where the modal should be opened with, and you click on enter, it opens the modal. So when you click on tab, it jumps between the close button at the top and the button, and it doesn't go to another section. So what this means by this is that the first thing is that when you open the modal and you click on tab, it shouldn't jump to other buttons that are for example, behind the model, like for example, to the second one or something like that. And it should stay inside the model. And the second thing is when you click on ESC on the keyboard, it should close the model. And also, like, of course, the close button at the top, it's a link block, and you click on enter and it also closes it. So I'm going to show you in Webflow how they've done it. So on buttons, like they added like interactions to open the model, and then on the model itself that it is here, let's make it visible. So then on the close button they added like a blink block, and on interaction like they added the close interaction, so it closes the model. And also they also added the same thing on the model close area. So this background behind it, this is not accessible with the keyboard. It's fine for this. For example, when you open the model and you click on this, like it should disappear. This shouldn't happen on keyboard. It should close on clicking the X button or using the tab to click on this button with enter. And then the other thing, let's close this. The other thing that they've done, they added a script here for keeping the focus with when you are navigating with the keyboard inside the module, and it doesn't jump to other buttons, as I said. And also like making the model to close with an ESC key. You need to make sure that if you use this script that you change the classes. For example, like this one, the class on the button here as well, and in other areas as well, like for example this modal close area. You want to make sure that you change all the classes if you are going to use other classes. And yeah, this is very important thing that you want to add on the website. Another thing that you really want to make sure of when it comes to accessibility for websites is to remove focus from hidden elements. So this is an A level requirement, so this can be legally required, but it's also something that we really want to make sure when it comes to websites. So what I mean by that is, for example, let's say that you have a link block or something like that, and you hide a section that has a button. So let's duplicate this button, for example. You want to make sure that you add an area label. So let's go in settings. Let's first hide this so you can see what I mean by that. So let's say that you have hidden this element, and then you want to go inside the settings and you want to add a custom attribute of area hidden, and you want to say to value to add true. So what this means is that when someone navigates with the keyboard, like that element is not going to come into focus, so it's not going to it's going to go, like for example, let's say that the button is above the second one, right? Like when you use the keyboard to navigate to this one and then you click again on it, you make sure that this one doesn't come in focus and it looks weird, like it doesn't highlight the second one, because you would expect the focus to go to the second button and not the hidden one. So this is how you make sure that that doesn't happen. Another very important thing is you make sure that you avoid unnecessary interruptions. So this is an AAA level. This is not legally required, but let's say that you go on a website and a newsletter pop-up appears. It can be difficult for those that have motor disabilities to just to go, okay, now I have to click on two different things or something like that to close the model. You should avoid doing this, like newsletter pop-ups, marketing pop-ups, chat widgets that open automatically. Like, you should think that it adds another thing on already having to navigate the website with a keyboard or with assistive technology. Like, it adds another thing that they have to do. Another thing that it's important to mention is that users should be able to re-authenticate to the website without using data. Now, I know that website like Webflow doesn't have this by default, but let's say that you use a tool like MemberStack to add user logins. This is an AAA level, so this is not legally required, but it's something important as well, especially for those that have like motor disabilities, because it makes it easy for the data to be there. And what I mean by that is like, um, let's say that there's like a banking website, like someone tries to authenticate in and they complete a form or something like that, like the data should be there. Same for government forms and for e-commerce checkouts. So it saves the data there and they don't have to re-add it again. Another thing that is worth to mention is, let's say that you add like a timer on the website. This should be adjustable, like the time should be adjustable. This is an AA requirement, so this can be legally required in some cases. Users should be able to turn off, extend, or adjust the time. This is especially important for those that have like motor disabilities, because they may need more time to complete tasks, and especially important when it comes to checkouts, if you are like a timer on it, like, and also like on quizzes or like session timeouts, like you need to think about these things as well. But you can also not add any timing at all. This is an AA requirement. Another thing that is very important to mention is to avoid autofocus. So this is an AA level requirement. So what this means is that, for example, on forms, on inputs, you should make sure that inside the settings you don't click on autofocus. So what the autofocus does is that when you go on this page, let's say that I publish it, you are going to see that instead of starting from the beginning of the page, from the top of the page, it's going to scroll directly down to this input. So you should avoid this, especially for those people that are using screen readers. They like, it's going to jump directly to this and it's going to be hard to just scroll up, and it's going to confuse people, especially those that are visually impaired. So yeah, you should avoid this. And the other thing that it's important to mention when it comes to forms is error prevention. This is an AA level requirement. So what this means is that, let's say that you use like multi-page forms, and you complete, like the user completes all this data and then they click on next. They should be able to have like a back button so they can go back and edit the fields. Like, they shouldn't be locked in, and for them to not be able to edit like the things that they add on the forms. Now, when it comes to reCAPTCHA, things are a bit more difficult. On Webflow, they only have the version 2, which adds that element under forms, and people need to click on it and verify that they are not bots. But when it comes to assistive technologies, this can be a bit more difficult, because like the red captcha version 2, so when it comes to AA level, that is legally required, is that the reCAPTCHA needs to be text based. So the reCAPTCHA 2 is, but in some cases it might not be. For example, let's say that someone uses an assistive technology, and let's say that reCAPTCHA thinks that that's a bot. So when that happens, images appear and people need to click on them. And those, for example, that are visually impaired, or they may not be able to actually see and solve that, click on the right thing. And those that have motor disabilities, they may have a hard time clicking on those elements. So this is quite difficult. What can you can do in this case? You can use like reCAPTCHA version 3. You need to set up. It takes longer because you need to verify it side-wide, and or use other alternatives as well. But this is something that you need to be careful at. And sometimes they may rely on audio, and this can make it hard for those that are that have hearing difficulties, or are deaf, to actually solve those challenges when it comes to version 2 or other reCAPTCHA. So you should use reCAPTCHA that is text based, or provide other alternatives for people to um, verify that they are not bots. Another very important things when it comes to accessibility for websites, you need to make sure that you don't have only hover, that you have hover only interactions. So what this means is that someone that is using assistive technologies, they or screen readers, they might not be able to see that interaction. Like, you shouldn't hide important information on hover only. So I have this example um, from Dropbox. Usually, like, you have these tooltips on pricing pages, and you can see that it appears when I hover. So when you go through this with the keyboard, you are going to see that it selects, they added like a dim block around the icon, and if I click on enter, they added a click based interaction as well, and it's not how only hover, because if it was only hover, like, the people wouldn't be able to navigate this only with keyboard. So this is how they've done it. Like, I click on tab and they select it, and then they click enter and it appears. I've seen that also they've done something like this, like, you hover over it, you click on it, and then it stays. This is also very important. This is I think an AAA requirement as well. I'm going to talk about this in the cognitive disabilities that I'm going to post next week. But yeah, like, you need to be careful that you don't hide, especially like important information under hover only interactions. And also, like, this is important for touch devices as well. So this was part 2 of accessibility series. We covered hearing disabilities and motor disabilities, and in part 3 that I'm going to post in 2 weeks, or if it's already live, you are going to see it here appearing on the screen. We are going to cover cognitive disabilities and situational disabilities, and all the series, like, you are going to see that it benefits everyone and not only those that have disabilities. If you liked this video, leave a comment below, and also like feedback and other things that you want to see on this channel. You are going to see a comment post like pinned from me, where I'm going to ask for feedback and what other tutorials you want to see. You can also follow me on Instagram, because I'm a bit more active there. You can interact with me, you can send me like what other tutorials you want to see, and I'm also asking sometimes like what other tutorials you want to see, and you can vote. And yeah, thank you for watching.